Hello students. In the last class we have completed group 15 elements and we have seen how many elements are present in group 15, as well as we have studied some of the physical properties along with that chemical properties like oxidation states and their chemical reactivity with different elements like halogens, hydrogens, oxygens, right? So, and different kinds of substances we have seen, and we have seen the preparation of three important compounds like dinitrogen, similarly ammonia by Haber's process, as well as preparation of concentrated HNO3, which help of ostward isolation process also we have seen. Out of three, one will be definitely for 3 marks for your annual examination, that also I have explained. So that is all about the overall study of 15th group elements. The next group element in case of P block, that is 16th group elements. The same study what we have done in the regular pattern, the same thing we have to do even for the 16 group elements also. In 16 group elements, again you will get 5 different elements. One is oxygen, right? Second one sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium, right? So group 16 elements also consist of 5 different elements. One is oxygen, second one is sulfur, third one is selenium, tellurium and polonium, right? So similar to the 15 group elements, here also I have made 4 important columns. In the first column I have written all the elements. Second column, it's a respective atomic number as well as atomic masses, and further if you observe here, you can see the electronic configuration of the different 16th group elements, right? So oxygen atomic number is 8, atomic mass is 16, and the electronic configuration, nearest noble gas is helium, and it consists of 2s2 and 2p4, outermost electronic configuration. Similarly in sulfur, the atomic number is 16, atomic mass is 32, and the nearest neighboring gas is nearest noble gas is neon, and its outermost electronic configuration is 3s2 3p4. Similarly, even in case of selenium, 34, and atomic mass is 78.96, that is the exact value, and argon is the nearest noble gas, and it is 3d10 4s2 4p4. Similarly for tellurium, 52 127.6, and krypton is the nearest noble gas, 4d10 5s2 5p4. Similarly for polonium, it is atomic number of 84 and atomic mass of 210, and the electronic configuration, the nearest noble gas is xenon, 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p4. In first view, already I have learned how to write the electronic configuration by knowing the atomic number of the different elements, right? So if you know the atomic number, you can directly write the electronic configuration very easily. The most important thing here you have to observe is, whenever you compare the outermost electronic configuration of a group 16 element, that is oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and well as polonium. So if you see here, the outermost electronic configuration is, so 2s2 2p4, 3s2 3p4, 4s2 4p4, 5s2 5p4, 6s2 6p4. So this generally resembles the general electronic configuration of a 16th group element is ns2 np4. The outermost general electronic configuration of any of the 16th group elements can be given as ns2 np4. And atomic and ionic radii increases in size down the group, right? So similar to the group 15th elements, the atomic as well as ionic radii increases in size down the group, which means as you come down the group from oxygen to polonium, its size goes on increases, size of the atom goes on increases, and ionization enthalpy decreases down the group, right? So already we know that ionization energy means, so ionization enthalpy or ionization energy means amount of energy required to remove the electron from the outermost orbit. As we see here, if you consider this is the nucleus and these are the orbitals, right? So where there's a more probability of finding the electrons, right? So here if you take any electron, right, so here whenever it is close to the nucleus, to remove this electron you have to apply more force or more energy. Whenever it is far away from the nucleus, so you can apply very less amount of energy. So therefore, as the atomic and ionic radii increases, right, so the ionization enthalpy also decreases from oxygen to polonium, which means in oxygen the electron will be nearest to the nucleus. So therefore, to remove the electron from the oxygen atom, so it requires more amount of energy, external energy. But as we go down the group, actually the size goes on increases, therefore the ionization enthalpy goes on decreases down the group, right? So due to the gradual increase in the size is nothing but the atomic number, size is nothing but the that is radius of the ion, right? And similarly, electronegativity decreases down the group, right? So electronegativity also decreases down the group as you come down the group, right? So which means oxygen is more electronegative, and sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium, like this in the order of their right, so groups, right? So in this group, so as we come down the group, right, what happens? The electronegativity goes on decrease, right? And in case of physical properties, whenever you consider 16th group elements, oxygen and sulfur are non-metals, right? So the first two elements of the 16th group, that is oxygen and sulfur, are non-metals. Selenium and tellurium are metalloids. Generally, metalloids are these chemical substances which are having the properties in between metals and non-metals, right? Which sometimes behaves like a metal, sometimes behaves like a non-metals also, right? So these are generally called as metalloids, which means the third and fourth element in the group 16 are generally in terms of metalloids. First two are non-metals, so the middle two or the third and fourth are metalloids, and the last one, polonium, is a metal, and it is a radioactive, right? So which can give the different kinds of radiations. These are generally called as a radioactive element that we have already studied, right? So in your first few classes as well as in your 10th, what are radioactivity, what are the uses of radioactive agents, right? So polonium is the only metal out of 16th group, and all are other than polonium, oxygen and sulfur, the first two elements are non-metals, and selenium as well as tellurium are generally recognized as the metalloids. And all these elements exhibit allotropy, which means they can be present in different forms. Like if you take a carbon, it can be present in the form of graphite, it can be present in the form of diamond, right? So it can be present in the form of fullerene. Like that, the different types of the arrangement of atoms makes a different shape or a different the overall structure for the molecule, which means the element is same but its forms are different, right? So it is made up of different forms, right? So therefore all these elements exhibit allotropy. Allotropy means all these group 16 element has the capacity to form a different kind of substances, right? So even though consist of same molecules, so it has different type of arrangement, which means it can be present in another form also. Like I said, the carbon can be present in the form of diamond also, carbon can be present in the form of graphite also. So therefore here, so the 16 group elements have a special ability to form the allotropic, or they have the different allotropic forms. And the melting point and boiling point increases as there is an increase in the atomic number. If you come down the group, what happens? Again, the melting point and boiling point goes on increases. Oxygen exhibit as a diatomic, right? So diatomic, it is not monoatomic. So only one oxygen atom cannot be present in the atmosphere. It is always diatomic, that is oxygen double bonded with oxygen. And whereas sulfur exhibit the polyatomic, that it can be present in a poly means many, right? So di means two, right? So di means two, and poly means many, as we know that one, right? So it can be present in the combined form of so S can mix with S, right? Sulfur can mix with sulfur, like that 8 sulfurs can bond together, right? So it can be exhibit in the polyatomic form, remember. So this is the most important thing. Oxygen exhibit as a diatomic. Diatomic means oxygen can combine with another oxygen molecule and it will convert into O2, right? So oxygen can be converted into, so that is O2, whereas so therefore we can call it as diatomic form. But in case of sulfur, what comes? It exhibit the polyatomic size. Polyatomic, that is in the form of S8. Up to 8 molecules or 8 atoms of sulfur can combine with each other, right? Okay, these are the some of the 16th group elements as well as their physical properties. So further we'll see what are the chemical properties of 16th group elements. Okay, further if we go for the chemical properties of 16th group elements, the common oxidation, in general in case of chemical properties, we'll say how it reacts or what type of bonding they form due to the different type of oxidation state which it has for the 16th group elements, right? So the common oxidation state you can see in case of 16th group element, that is -2, +2, +4, +6, and +4 and +6 are the most common in case of 16 group, right? So the oxidation state is number of replaceable H+ ions, or the number of replaceable, right? So that is electrons from the atom, that is generally called as oxidation state, or number of electrons, how much electrons can be added to that substance or to that atom is generally called as, to that element is generally called as chemical properties. The most common oxidation state, it can shows the oxidation state of -2, +2, +4 and +6, but the most common oxidation state of a 16th group element is +4 and +6, can be seen in case of 16th group element. And bonding in +4 and +6 oxidation state is primary covalent. Covalent means mutual sharing of electron. The bond formed due to the mutual sharing of electron, that is generally called as covalent. For example, if A and B are two elements, right? So if A will give one electron as well as B will give one electron, right? And there is a formation of a bonding between this A and B, right? So due to the mutual transfer of electron, mutual sharing of electron, this bond is generally called as a covalent bond, right? So the bond formed between two elements due to the mutual sharing of electron is called as a covalent bond. Generally, in case of +4 oxidation state, whenever it bonds with another element, or in case of +6 oxidation state, that is primarily 16th group element have the ability to undergo the common oxidation state of +4 and +6. Whenever it attains the oxidation state of +4 and +6, it has capacity to bond primarily the covalent bond. Covalent bond means, here if you observe, there are two elements. The bond is formed due to the mutual means both works together in the same manner, that is one electron is given by A, one electron is given by B, and it has the greater force of attraction, and this is generally called as covalent bond. The bond formed due to the sharing of pair of electron is called as covalent bond, which means generally in case of +4 and +6 oxidation state, whenever the 16 group are present in +4 and +6, they show the primarily the covalent bond formation in case of those kind of compound. And the next important thing in case of the 16th group element is anomalous properties of oxygen. Even in case of 15th group also we have seen the anomalous properties of nitrogen. There is a first element of the 15th group. Similarly, here also the first element of the 16th group also has some of the important characteristics, or we can call it a special or a separate characteristics when compared to that of the other element of the same group. So these are generally called as anomalous properties. Always remember, anomalous properties are for 2 marks, whether it may be 15th group, whether it may be 16, 17, like this. So the first group of that element will always have the special characteristics when compared to that of the other substance or other elements of the same group, right? So in case of anomalous properties, right, so or we call it as rare properties, right? So anomalous properties of oxygen, because group 16 has the first element, that is oxygen. So first thing is the smaller size. It's very small because the atomic radius goes on, increases down the group as you come from oxygen to polonium. So the atomic size goes on, that is atomic or ionic radius goes on, increases, that we have already explained. So therefore oxygen is having the smallest size in case of 16 group. I'm just talking about the 16, right? So we are not comparing overall periodic table, just we are talking about the 16 group element. Out of the 5 16 group elements, so the oxygen bears the smallest size, and due to the smallest size, the higher electronegativity, right? So the force of attraction between the nucleus and electron is more, therefore it exhibits the highest electronegativity, and it has a capacity to undergo strong hydrogen bonding, right? So in case of water molecule, so the oxygen is bonded to, right? So the oxygen is bonded to two hydrogen atom, right? So which has ability to undergo the hydrogen atom. These hydrogen bonding, right? So these hydrogen bonding, so you have studied in first PU, that is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, intramolecular hydrogen bonding, right? So generally hydrogen bonding is the bond formed between the hydrogen and more electronegative atom of the same group, same compound or the another compound, that is generally called as a hydrogen bonding. Based on the type of bonding, we can call it as intermolecular as well as intramolecular also. But just remember, only oxygen, right? So out of these all 5 16th group elements, oxygen has a more since due to the more electronegativity, it has greater force of attraction towards the hydrogen, because hydrogen is basically a positive charge. So therefore there is a chance of formation of this kind of hydrogen bonding, right? So you can observe this kind of hydrogen bonding in case of oxygen only. So that is the rare property of group 16 element, that is capacity to undergo strong hydrogen bonding in water molecule, because water molecule consists of H2O, one oxygen is bonded to hydrogen, right? So which is not found in H2S. Even that bond, even though whenever the sulfur can bond with hydrogen, but that force of attraction cannot be seen because of larger size when compared to that of the oxygen atom, and sulfur is not that much electronegativity. It does not show much electronegativity when compared to that of the oxygen. Therefore, there is no chance of that greater force of attraction between the hydrogen and sulfur. Whenever you compare hydrogen, whenever it is bonded with oxygen, it converts into water molecule. So how much the strength present in the hydrogen bonding in case of water molecule, that strength cannot be found in case of H2S, because whenever you compare oxygen and sulfur, the oxygen is the more electronegative. That is the important property or anomalous property of oxygen. If they ask for 2 marks, you have to write all the 4. One is smaller size, second one is higher electronegativity, third one, it has capacity to undergo hydrogen bonding in water molecule, so which is generally not present in H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide. So further, after studying about the chemical properties and anomalous properties, further we will go for the reactivity of group 16th element, right? So the same thing we have studied even in case of 15th group, reaction with hydrogen, oxygen, halogens, right? So different kinds of metals. Similarly, here also we'll observe how the 16th group elements like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium can react with different elements like hydrogen, oxygen and halogens also. Similarly in case of metals also, and so what kind of oxidation states they bear, or how the stability of those compounds can be seen in the order that we'll study in this part. So in case of reactivity of 16th group element, so first reaction is the reaction with hydrogen. So whenever the 16th group elements reacts with the hydrogen, they convert into hydrides. They convert into hydrides of the form H2E. H2 means it is in the form of dihydrides, right? So 2 hydrogens can be bonded with oxygen, selenium. So here E represents here if you observe this, E represents the 16th group element. That is, I have written in the bracket E, which resembles to, it may be oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium or polonium, right? So therefore it is generally in the form of dihydrides, right? So whenever the group 16 elements react with hydrogen atom, they generally convert into hydrides of the type H2E. H2E means hydrogen bonded with E, where E represents the 16th group element, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. Here if you give the example for this type of H2E molecule, that is H2O, right? So that is water molecule. H2T, tellurium is bonded to the hydrogen, H2PO. Similarly, hydrogen sulfide, that is H2S, right? So in this form, that is generally in the form of whenever they react with hydrogen, right? So group 16 or 16th group element, so plus whenever it reacts with hydrogen, it will be converted in the form of H2E, right? So where E represents the 16th group elements, right? So where E represents the 16th group element, which means whenever there is an formation of hydrogen molecules like this hydrogen bonded molecule like water molecule, so the oxygen interacts with the hydrogen, right, and it will convert into H2, right? So it has the capacity to undergo bonding with the 2 hydrogen atoms. So therefore you can also call it as dihydrides also, because there is the addition of 2 hydrogen atoms. Generally we can call it as dihydrides, right? That is very simple reaction in case of whenever it reacts with the hydrogen, that is 16th group elements. So, and the second reaction is with oxygen. Whenever the 16th group elements react with oxygen, they convert into oxides. Whenever they react with the hydrogen, they convert into hydrides. Whenever they react with oxygen, they convert into oxides of 2 types, generally EO2 type, EO3 type, which means this is dioxide. Another one is trioxide. Remember, whenever it is bonded to 2 oxygen, we'll call it as a dioxide. Whenever it is bonded to 3 oxygen, we'll call it as a trioxides. Right? So whenever the 16th group elements have the ability to undergo the reaction with oxygen, they convert into oxide form. But there are 2 different type of oxide forms. One is generally called as EO2. EO2 means it is dioxide form, and generally second one is EO3. EO3 means, so there are 3 oxygen, generally we'll call it as trioxide. So therefore, whenever the 16th group elements react with oxygen, they convert into 2 types of oxides. One is of dioxide, another one is of trioxide. Similarly, if you observe here O3 is the ozone, and sulfur dioxide, SO2. So here it is present in the form of dioxide, and in case of ozone, it is in the form of trioxide. Are the gases, that is ozone and sulfur dioxide are the gases, whereas selenium dioxide, selenium which is bonded to 2 oxygen, we will call it as generally dioxide. Whenever there is 2 oxygen, we will call it as dioxide. Whenever there is 3 oxygen, we will call it as trioxide. So therefore, so ozone and sulfur dioxide are the gases, while selenium dioxide is a solid. Right? So they are comparing between three compounds. One is ozone, sulfur dioxide, and selenium dioxide. So here, because we are talking about the dioxides as well as trioxide form, right? So whenever it is present in the sulfur dioxide form or ozone, it is generally present as a gas, while it is in the form of selenium dioxide, it is in the form of solid. Right? So both types of oxides are acidic in nature. Both means here it is in the form of diatomic or it is in the type trioxide form, right? So whenever it is in the form of dioxide form or whenever it is in the form of trioxide form, so these both types of oxides are acidic in nature. So they have the capacity to produce H plus ions or they have the capacity to remove the electron. So therefore it has the acidic nature in case of compounds which are present in the form of dioxide. Similarly, in case of trioxide, both types of oxides, that is whenever they react with oxygen, so these have the acidic nature. Generally they have the acidic, right? So these are the two different type of reactions, that is reactivity in case of 16th group. One is with the hydrogen, they convert into hydride, only one type, that is H2E, right? And that is generally called as dihydride. But whenever it reacts with the group 16th group reacts with oxygen, they convert into oxide form, that we have seen of two types. One is dioxide, another one is trioxide, and we have seen 2 to 3 examples, and we have seen both the type of oxides are acidic in nature. The next important reaction in case of group 16th is whenever they react with halogens. Right? So whenever the group 16th element react with halogen, they convert in the form of halides. Here if you observe, right? So halides are of three type. One is EX6 of the pattern, or it may be in the present, it may be present in the form of EX4 and it is present in the form of EX2. Remember, observe here, it is EX6, EX4, EX2, which means it can be present in the form of hexahalides. Halides, if there are 6 halides, we can call it as hexahalides. If there are 4 halides, we can call it as tetrahalides. Or if it is present in the 2 halogen, if it is bonded with the 2 halogen, generally we call it as a dihalides, right? So which means whenever the 16 group elements react with halogen atoms, they can convert into the halide form, right? So out of these 3 halides, so those are, so that is hexahalides, because it can bond with the 6 halogen atoms. So it also, because the oxidation state of this 16 group is generally +4, +6 as well as +2. It can bond with so 2 elements, 4 elements or 6 elements, like this, right? Because halogens are, right, so monovalent, the single valency is there, right? So therefore it is a X6, that is hexahalide, or it may be X4, that is tetrahalide, or it may be X2, that is dihalide, right? So it can be present in the form of EX6, or it may be present in the form of EX4, or it may be generally present in the form of EX2. Right? And similarly, the stability of halides decreases, right? So whenever it bonds with a halogen, it converts into halide form, but the strength or the stability of that halide decreases in the order of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine, which means the fluorine, whenever bonds with the oxygen, so it has capacity of more stability, right? So the bonding will be more sustained. Therefore, fluorine has more attractive towards the 16th group elements when compared to that of chlorine, bromine, and iodine. It decreases the strength, that is stability, goes on decreases. So whenever there is a formation of halides, whenever it reacts with halogen, that is 16th group elements, so therefore fluorine has a more stable compound. Fluorine can make a more stable compound when it reacts with the 16th group elements. So therefore fluorine is more stability, and fluorine has more stability when compared to chlorine, and it decreases in the order. It decreases in the order whenever it go from fluorine to iodine, right? So fluorine is more stably bonded with group 16 than chlorine. Chlorine is very less when compared to fluorine. Similarly, bromine is very less compared to fluorine and chlorine. Similarly, the least one is iodine, right? So like this, the stability of, or the strength of the bonding in case of halides, it decreases in the order of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine, right? So all these hexafluorides, which means these are in the form of EX6, are gaseous in nature, right? And they have the octahedral structure, right? So due to the formation of 6 bonds, generally they be as the octahedral. You know the octahedral structure, right? So it may be present in the form of like this. So this is generally called as octahedral structure, right? So this is generally called as octahedral, right? So that kind of octahedral structure can be seen in case of EX6. EX6 means generally it is in the form of hexahalides, right? So here all hexafluorides, all hexahalides are gaseous in nature, are generally gaseous in. Hexafluorides means whenever the fluorine can bond with oxygen, it can bond with selenium, it can bond with sulfur, it can bond with tellurium as well as polonium. So therefore hexafluorides, when 6 fluorine atoms are bonded to oxygen, selenium, sulfur, tellurium or polonium, that is group 16th element. So these are generally gaseous in nature, right? So the type of the substance is gaseous in nature, and they have the octahedral structure. Right? So it is very simple, right? So octahedral structure. So different kinds of with the help of VSEPR theory, VBT, right? So we have seen the different structures of the molecule in first PUC. The same thing here we are applying here. So generally it is having the octahedral structure. The octahedral structure can be seen whenever the element is bonded with the 6 different or same kind of elements. So whenever 6 bondings are present, it is generally in the form of octahedral structure.